The avatar of the age came in human form, known as Meherabad Iran, later on called as uh, Mer-
Nirvan Seth.
Meherabad Seth, thank you. Meherabad Ji, then Meherabad Seth, then Sadguru Meher Baba, then Avatar Meher Baba. He came, he did his work, he suffered like all avatars in the past, and he dropped his body and went away. I'll take you back 47 years. I'll take you to December 1968. In December 1968, a marriage took place. Baba's nephew, Dara and Amrit's wedding took place, and one day before, 4 Navjot ceremonies were done. Not the sense that we see normally. Hosang and Hovi's 2 children were 2 of those 4 children. So after this function was over, it was Baba had directed the Bombay group, I presume it was only the Bombay group, to go over to Samadhi and have a look at it. So my mom was one of the invitees. She goes over with the group to Samadhi at Meherabad and she has a look. Now, in my mind's eye, I presume what my mom must have seen, almost like what we see today, in the sense the Samadhi was full of earth, and the ladis were put cemented, etc., and it was flush at the ground level. Now, on 31st Jan, Padri Kaka, who lived at Meherabad, he was the Meherabad Mandli. He was called to Meherabad. He was a homeopath as well. So he administers some homeopathic pill in Baba's mouth, but in the noon, at 12 noon, Baba dropped his body. Now, Padri Kaka, who lived at Meherabad, he was an odd man kind of. He did all kind of jobs. So the Mandli told him to rush back to Meherabad and open up the Samadhi and prepare it the way we saw it now. So he goes back, he takes his workers, helpers, and he removes the ladis, and he removes the earth, puts it somewhere. And where we bow down today, the granite that we see, that is where the 6 steps went down. You saw people going down the steps, so that is where there was 6 heavy steps. The steps went down, and it was, you can see 6 feet under. So that is what Padri Kaka did. Baba dropped his body not on the bed that you see, not on the normal bed that you see. He dropped his body on the surgical bed at the instance of the women Mandli, and thereafter Baba's body was brought at Meherabad in the Mandli hall. It was kept for a few hours there. The begin was played for 7 times in that Mandli hall at Meherabad as per Baba's instructions. Thereafter the body was brought in an ambulance to Meherabad. It was again kept not directly in Samadhi as we understand. It was kept in Baba's cabin, it was kept in Baba's room as we call it. There again, the begin was played for 7 times. And then the signal was given that Samadhi is ready, the body can be brought in, and thereafter the body was brought and put in Samadhi. Now, we come to the evening of 31st Jan 1969. My mom was a partner in a shop, my mama's shop, Coronel. And she would normally come from the shop at around 8 at night. Now at 7 in the evening, Diana, Betsy and I, we are at home, and I'm writing my paper, and there was a doorbell at 7. She would come at 8. There was a doorbell at 7, and I knew that mom had come. And I wondered why mom would come at 7 in the evening. So I'm writing my paper. She walks into the room and she says, "Mere Baba guzar gaya." And I just froze. It's as good as it happened yesterday evening. I just froze. I didn't know how to react, and I'm sure same goes with my both the sisters. They must have frozen, not knowing how to react, what to think. We were just completely blank. And mom says, "Jimmy, समझो क्या नहीं?" get up and pack your bag. We are going to Meherabad. We are going. Come on, get up and take your bag. So, and there was also an information that Baba's body would be closed next day morning at 8. I repeat, next day morning at 8 in the morning. And mom said we are going for one night or maybe maximum 2 nights. So I took that old Air India bag. If you, some of you may know, it was just a small bag. So I threw in my one overnight clothes, and in those days we carried beddings. Youngsters won't even know what is a bedding, but in those days we used to call it a bedding or a bedroll. So I made my bedding, I made mom's bedding, and she said, Jibi, first go and tell Eraj Karadia. Eraj Karadia lived in Wadia Street where we lived at Tardev. So I go over to Eraj Karadia's house. Eraj, you are there. I go to Eraj Karadia's house and I tell him that Eraj, mere Baba guzar gaya. And Eraj was very upset with me. He was very upset with me. You got mad, you gone crazy. I said, look Eraj, these are the instructions that mom has received. Tonight we are going to Ahmednagar by night train. If you are coming, come. Eraj still won't believe it. So he gets down with me, he goes somewhere to make a phone call, and that's his part of the story, then what happened. So I go back home, and to fast forward, we are at VD station, some 25, 30, 40 men, women from the Bombay Center, we gathered, we took the night train, and we went to Meherabad. But before that, Jalta store requested the guard and the driver to please stop the train at Meherabad. At a railway crossing that we cross every time we go over there. And sure enough, the driver and the guard obliged, and the train was indeed stopped at Meherabad. But before that, at 8 in the morning, the group realized that we were far, far away from Meherabad, or even Ahmednagar for it. And we were still in the train, a lot of time to go to reach Meherabad. So at 8 in the morning, Bhusavinar RT was done by us in the train itself, because we thought that Baba's body is being closed now. And then at around maybe 9:30, 10, whenever we reach Lower Meherabad, and you got to imagine a train, it's maybe 6 feet high, there are no platforms, nothing, and there are old ladies in the 70s, 80s, 60s. So young men got down first. We just physically dropped the bags and bedrolls, etc. And the men got down first and helped the ladies to get down. And with all this baggage, beddings, we trot up the hill. And everybody knows that Baba's body is already closed. But as we go up, where there is Suburban today, Eraj uncle was there, and people naturally tried to go over and meet him, and he said, don't meet me, don't meet any one of us, just go inside the Samadhi and bow down. Effectively, it meant that Baba's body is still open. The very fact he says, go down and bow down. So for the first time in my life, I am at Meherabad. Meherabad and Meherazad was out of bounds for everyone, just everyone. Nobody could ever take license and go either to Meherabad or Meherazad. It was a no thing. So, but Meherazad, myself, Bepsi and Mama had gone once on one of Meramai's birthdays. So that's a story in itself. But Meherabad I am seeing for the first time. So one after the other, we go down the 6 steps, we touch Baba's feet, and we come back. Now just to give you a brief of how it was done, maybe you saw it, the blank earth, 6 feet under, that is this earth, open earth, mitti, and a plank was put. Now what is that plank will come a little later. A wooden plank was put, and on that plank a chadar was put, and on chadar Baba's body draped in white chadar and a scarf like thing that you saw. So this is how Baba's body was put, and surrounding Baba's body, big chunks of ice blocks were put for 7 days and 7 nights. Now where this ice, so much ice came to be put there, that also is another story some other time. So Baba's body is put in the center, chunks of ice surrounding, and this is how it went. Now I would like to break off from here Because I told you that Baba's body was to be closed at 8 in the morning, and we all know, historically speaking, that Baba's body was open for 7 days. So how did this go about? There is this one version which is a recorded version, everybody has read in various books, that Baba had said, not verbatim, but to the effect that Baba had said that I will kind of pass on, or whatever the word is, on my birthday. And it so happened that on the 7th day, on the 7th of February 69, when Baba's body was covered, it was Baba's rose birthday, as per the Zoroastrian calendar. So what the story is floating is that it was kept open because Baba had said that my body will be covered on my birthday. But there is this another story which I have heard 3 times firsthand, and the story goes like this, that there was this Baba lover called Darab Satta. Darab Satta originally came from Ahmednagar. He was from Nagar, from Satta family. And like all young men, Ahmednagar was a one-horse town. There was no job, nothing. So all young men would come to Mumbai, Bombay, looking for a job. Even Pune was a very small town which offered no jobs. Even my boss was also from Ahmednagar earlier. But before that, let me introduce Dorab Satta. Dorab Satta, when he was a young man and from Ahmednagar, Baba would tell him to go over in Nagar town, pick up spiritual books from the footpath. Even I remember when I was young, I would see this, and from footpath, pick up saints' booklets. They used to sell saints' booklets on the footpaths. So Baba would tell him to go over and pick up some saints' booklets. And he would go over to Meherabad, and Baba and Dora would be closeted in a room, in one of the rooms. And Baba is trying to explain to Dara, or explaining to Dara, the spirituality of this man and what level they were, etc., etc. So we all know that Baba was silent. We all know that Baba was silent. And it was not Dora who was reading Baba's book. It was not Dora who was reading the saint's book to Baba. It was Baba who was explaining the book to Dora. That's one. Now, at what level Baba did to him and with him is anybody's guess. Then we come to another story of Dora, in the sense that Dora took Persian in college. He had not studied Persian in school, at school level. But I think he had an option of French or Persian. He didn't want to take French, so he took Persian. And he got the books and Persian lipi, Persian script, Persian language. He didn't know alphabet of Persian. So once again, Baba is closeted with Dora in one room, and Baba is teaching Persian to Dora. Now, how does that happen? Anybody's guess, your guess. Third story is that Baba would stay at Meherabad, we all know, and maybe once a week or so, he would go from Meherabad to Meherabad and come back by evening or early evening. So one day, Baba picks up Dora from Ahmednagar, from Satta family, Akbar Press, and with Baba in the car was Adit Senior. Adit Senior was driving the car, and Harry Kenmore. Harry Kenmore from Meherabad was with Baba in the rear seat. But at Satta house, at Akbar Press, Baba is asking him to move forward. So Harry Kenmore goes in the front, and Darab and Baba sitting at the back. After a while, Darab says, Haji Baba. After a while, Darab again says, Haji Baba. Adi is wondering, what is this Haji Baba, Haji Baba? Means yes Baba, yes Baba. So Adi is driving and is saying, Darab, so what is this Haji Baba, Haji Baba? As if Baba is talking to you. And Darab said, Baba is talking to me, so out of respect I had to say Haji Baba. So after a while, again Haji Baba. So Harry Kenmore, who was sitting in front, Harry said, I may be blind, but I'm not deaf. Even if a pin drops, I can hear. And Baba is not talking to you. So basically, what I'm trying to arrive at is the Arab's spiritual status as to what it was like vis-a-vis Meherabad. He was on a very different footing, on a very different level with Meherabad. Unlike, let's say most of us, I don't know about, yeah. Anyway, so On the on the 1st of Feb, that is the next day, early in the morning, the Arab at Kemp's Corner, on the 7th floor flat, is having his bath at maybe 6:37 in the morning. There's a knock at the door, and his cousin says, Darab, Mere Baba Gekala Gujri Gaya. Mere Baba died yesterday night. And Darab was one who would get circulars from the Bombay Center and would get circular from Akbar Press. So he was the most informed Babalavar in Mumbai. And here, Baba yesterday, he's gone, Baba's gone yesterday. So he started crying. And there's another knock at the door. And his cousin says that yesterday night all the Parsi Babalavas from Bombay Center, they went by night train, they went yesterday. So he started crying again, Baba, what is this? Nobody told me, nobody ever told me, nobody informed me, they all went away. And to add fuel to the fire, the third knock at the door, and he says, Baba's body is going to be covered at 8 in the morning today. At 7 o'clock in the morning, he is in Mumbai, he is having a bath, and Baba's body is to be covered in an hour's time. So he cries and he wails that Baba mane chali diya, mukine chali diya, mane chori diya, koi mane life nahi diyo, etc., etc. He was a true Meher Baba lover, ardent lover. And on the 7th floor, Baba's vision comes from the bathroom window. And Baba says, Tu kahin araj, mu gyo nati. My body is still not covered. I'm not covered and I'm not going to be covered at 8. You don't have to cry. You go to Meherabad and give this message of mine, give this farman of mine, that my body will be kept open for 7 days. Now, Baba is telling, let's say, just the Baba lover. He's not, so he started howling again and said, Baba, mane ka inne sukar, why are you telling me, Baba? Tell them only, who is going to listen to me? Baba, nobody will listen to me, people will laugh at me. Baba said, nobody is going to laugh at you. Just do my bidding. Go and give this message that my body will remain open for 7 days. So there he goes. He comes to Meherabad. He goes up the hill and he meets Irachangal. And he tells Irachangal what Baba's message was. And he says, you stand here, you wait here. Now let's imagine, let's understand Irachangal's reaction. He did not say, Darab, I can understand, sit down, don't worry, sit down, everything will be all right. He is not ridiculing him. He is saying, you wait here, I'll call the ladies. So he goes inside his room and the water tower where everybody, the ladies stay. And he tells the women money and tea, and Dr. Gohar comes out. And Irachangal tells Darab that you repeat what you said to me. You repeat to these ladies. So Mani Aunty and Dr. Goyal listens to this. They said you'll have to wait. So the three of them go again inside. They talk to Mera, Rano, Kilti, Naja, Goher, all the women Manli. And now they are in a quandary what to do. But they wanted the body to be open. So they said, let's go with it. But you must also remember on the flip side, there were 3 doctors there. One was Dr. Gohar herself, Dr. Donkin, who was the Mandi, and Dr. Ginde. Dr. Ginde was a neurosurgeon, neurophysicist. He was top-notch in Mumbai. He had a big reputation, he had a big reputation, great honor, everybody respected him. And Ginde was furious when he realized, mind you, he's a doctor, when he realized that this Mandli is wanting to keep Baba's body open for 7 days. We normally know that the first thing the doctor will tell is, get going with the body. Either way, whichever way, but dispose of the body. So he's a doctor and there are other 2 doctors. And Ginde is telling Irachangal, you're listening to this guy, you're listening to this guy, the Mandli is listening to this guy, you want to keep the body open? And so Darab said there was an ordinary a Muni or a Rishi, his body was kept open for 1 month. So what is the problem? This is God man's body. This is God's man body. If it remains open for 7 days, what's your problem? So Dorab gave this. So now there is this rigging going on between the Manli and the 3 doctors. Finally, a compromise was reached in the sense that the doctors will go inside the Samadhi, they will go down and they will inspect Baba's body twice a day. So I've been a witness, I've seen the 3 doctors going in, closing the Samadhi door, as we saw, closing the Samadhi door. They would go down 6 steps, they would open up the chadar and they would inspect Baba's torso and the stomach. Stomach is the first thing that gives way. It swells and it bursts open from orifices, the blood comes out, etc. So they would go twice a day, they would inspect Baba's body, close the chadar once over again, come out, report to the Mandli, and there would be an announcement that Baba's body is going to be open. So this went on day after day after day. On one of the occasions, maybe after 3-4 days, Ginde felt a little uncomfortable. Now this is a story that I heard last summer when I was in the US. One American told this story, and he was told this story by Dr. Goel herself. So this also happens to be a kind of a first-hand story. So as they were inside in the Samadhi, these 3 doctors, Ginde said, "Don't you think we should now call it a day and close Baba's body?" He was nervous all the time. And Dr. Goel wanted the body to be open because it was Baba's farman for 7 days. So she got upset hearing this Dr. Ginde saying that we should close the body. So she stood. Now it was not very clear about the ice blocks. Let me talk about ice blocks. As I said, for 7 days and 7 nights, ice blocks were kept around Baba's body. So she stands with her feet on the ice blocks, mind you, on the ice blocks, and Baba's torso is open, Baba's stomach is open. So very excitedly, she presses Baba's stomach and says, "You see this? Don't you see it's still tight? This is tight, right? When a man is living, when a human being is living, the tummy is tight. Don't you see? Can't you see? What's your problem? Why are you so frightened? So then the body was covered again. So that's the story I heard. So this went on. Now to explain to you how things went. The women Mandli, that also you saw in the film, twice a day the women Mandli would go inside the Samadhi. They would close the doors. They would cry and wail. And you are hearing this outside. The crying and the wailing. You hear it all outside. And then there are people around. Someone's crying and someone's wailing and someone's trying to help the other. Don't cry. So, this goes on. And then there was this Bhajan Mandli. The Bhajan Mandli played bhajans, ghazals, as long as the people came and people went. A lot of people came and a lot of people went. Diana and Betsy and Manchi had not come. So Mama sent a word telling, now that's their story why they could not come, saying that Baba's body is still open and just take 1 day off or during the weekend come over and take Baba's darshan. So they did come and they had Baba's darshan. So that is that part. So this goes on. Now you got to imagine when we came to Meherabad, my mom and the Parsi ladies, they stayed along with the women Mandli at the water tower. Now water tower, the one room behind is the east room on the ground floor. And the museum that you see, that is kind of the west room, that is the museum. And there's the upper floor where the Westerners stayed in those days. Mera and Mani stayed in the east room. Some other Indian women stayed in the west room, etc. So my mom and the other ladies stayed in the water tower for 7 days. I lived down the hill at Lower Meherabad in the Mandli Hall. Mandli Hall is something like a squarish. So I carried my bedroll and my bag. So if I came back in the afternoon, if I kept my bag here, when I'm coming back, it's not there. Because people came and people went and they wanted space. So they put somebody else's bag and they put. So I'm here looking for my bag, going around the hall looking for my bag. So this went on for 7 days, 7 nights. We are in 1969. In those days, there was no canteen, there was no kitchen facility, there was no cooking, except for some 5, 10 monthly members who stayed there. There was no such facility. At least I don't remember even a kiosk coming up, feriwala, khetiwala, feriwala, whatever. I don't, but I'm told that there were two small kiosks came up. So the chai was given by Padri Kaka. Those who stayed at Lower Meherabad, the chai came from Padri Kaka. Our lunch and dinner came from Ahmednagar. There was some arrangement done with some either guest house or rest house or whatever. And we got our food from there. Now we got to imagine that in those days, the trust had very limited funds. Very limited funds, very small funds. And the trust was feeding us. So a point came when Saru Shirani went on the mic and announced that please, those who have had that darshan, we request you to please leave. We don't have the money to feed you. So the Parsi ladies, men got together, made a purse, whatever funds they could spare, made a purse, and he gave it to the Manli and said, Imatita Mijamar, feed people out of this money. So matter went on over. So this is how things happen. Lot of crying, wailing, people came, people ran, people went inside. Now what happened was, today we are only allowed to sit in the samadhi at the lower level. Three sit on the side. But when Baba's body was in the crypt, 3 of us would sit on either side, on the upper level, and there was this fan. A lot of flies would be around. Naturally, Baba's body was here, so a lot of flies would be around. So I have also said so many times and fanning Baba's body. And Bepsi was seated when she had come. Bepsi was seated, and Bepsi was also fanning Baba's body. And she saw Baba's eye open. She saw Baba's eye open. For years together, she told nobody about it. Even I saw Baba's eye a little flick. I didn't see them open, I'll be honest about it. But I did see flickering. That's it. Because I said even I want to see Baba's something. So Baba showed me a little glimpse maybe. And it was after years that she narrated this story to Mansari, and Mansari said some other related stories. So this is how it went on. Now, as I said, ice blocks are around Baba's body. Now you got to sustain these ice blocks, you have to keep these ice blocks. So what Jal Dastu did was, he would take a tokri of black salt, and he would go down the steps first. I would follow him with the tokri of black salt in my hand, and he would stand on ice blocks. Jal would stand on ice blocks, and I'm on the last rung, holding this tokri, and Jal would take a handful of salt and spread it on the ice. Second time, third time, and finally he would overturn the tokri. So I went down so many times with Jal helping him and bowing down. So for 7 days I had my fill. Yes. Now let's switch from Lower Meherabad to Ahmednagar. Ali Senior, who was Baba's secretary, there was only one phone, and that was in the trust office. So Ali Senior was stuck in the trust office, in his office, and he would receive trunk calls, and he would receive telegrams, etc. People are asking him, can we come, shall we come, is it okay to come, is Baba's body still open? And Ali said, look, I am not at Meherabad. I am here at the trust office in Ahmednagar. Right now also I don't know whether Baba's body is covered or not. I don't have any clue. I cannot give you any guarantee whether the body will be open by the time you come. In those days, people came from far and wide. It would take them, even from India, within India, it would take them 24 hours to change trains, etc. and come. So it was a deal in the sense, people wanted to come, many wanted to come, but the uncle, I won't use the word dissuaded them, but he neither encouraged them. He said, if you want to come, you're welcome, you come. But there is no guarantee that Baba's body will be open, you'll be able to see it. If you want to come, come. So many people, even the Westerners, he said, I have no idea. You want to come all the way, but you may not see Baba's body. So a lot of Babalas did not come. And he was wondering why there is no word from the Karachi, Bombay, Karachi Parsi group. Not a word. And he was agitated. They were like semi-monthly. Some of the Karachi Baba lovers were so close to Baba, they could almost kind of walking into Guru Prasad, that kind of thing. And not a word from them. And when they came in summer for the great darshan, they told the Mandli, in those days, I don't know about today, from Pakistan, if you wanted to come to India, in one calendar year, you can have only one visa. That means if you make one trip in a calendar year, you can't come again. And they had promised Baba that they will come for the great darshan sometime, April, May, June, whenever that slot was. They had said Baba that we will certainly come and we will have your darshan in the summer. So, well, they couldn't come in February, therefore they did not come. So that is their part of the story. People always ask me, did lakhs of people come and did thousands of people come? My answer is no. Nowhere near lakhs and nowhere near thousands. People came and went. There was a crowd, you saw the film today, there was a crowd, but certainly not thousands because of this reason that I gave you. So this went on. Now we come on the last day. Last day was 7th of February, Baba's birthday. Body is going to be closed at noon. Can you have some water, please? Yeah, okay. So, thank you. So there is this announcement that Baba's body will be closed at noon. And I went there, I had my darshan. People went inside, people had their darshan. And at 12 noon there is this announcement that now Baba's body is being closed. The moment the announcement was made, human psychology, human psyche, everyone once again wants to rush in, have Baba's darshan. Now it's noon time, announcement is that darshan is closed. But yet, people wanting to rush, everybody wanting to rush. There were 3 policemen, they started pushing people with their lathis. Pichi auto, come on. And there was this kind of frenzy. People started crying and people wanting to push inside the samadhi. I realized that my time is over. I had my fill, I have had Baba's darshan for 7 days. Now I don't need to have a lathi on my head. So I move out from there. I go to the water tower and the entrance, that green door, the entrance of museum, there is that niche. So I sit in that niche, just close my eyes. I want to be at peace with myself, not to be part of this, whatever. So in 2-3 minutes, Meru auntie, the Mandli, she comes from the east room. She sees me sitting there. So she said, Jimmy, jaldi ut. And Meherabad flowers, they were red roses, a big tokri, a really big tokri of red roses. And Meherabad flowers, Baba no body cover kare, teni pehle Baba na body par muke. To be put on Baba's body before it is closed. So here I am. I could walk straight right up to the gate. But then from gate onwards, there is this madness and there is this chaos and there's people. So to go from the front was impossible. So I go from behind Baba's cottage or Baba's room, whatever you call it. So I go from behind, but everybody is there. People are all over. So I'm holding this tokri of roses in my hand and I said, please move, please, baju auto, Mera's roses for Baba, please, baju auto. So I wait myself, I move. Then I go from behind the samadhi also, and I come up to the door. And I come up to the door and I see Jal at the entrance of samadhi, and I give the tokri to Jal and say, Jal, I hope you have not covered Baba's body because this is Meherabad's body to be put. And he says, he takes the tokri from my hand. Effectively, Baba's body is still not covered. And he says, Jaldi matti uchak, matti up, matti up. And he says, pick up the earth and get it. Now it's time to close Baba's body. And I was at loss. I didn't understand what he was suggesting, what he was trying to say. Pick up the earth and bring it. Now, what had happened was, for 7 days, the earth that was removed or excavated from the samadhi put some white, some mitti. But on the last day, it was brought. And today, where you see Meherabad's tomb, it was brought and kept there. The whole thing was there. Somehow I had not seen it. So he said, can't you? Now imagine he is inside the samadhi, his back, and he's outside. He's looking outside. So he says, can't you see the matti? So there I see, and there was this gamela, the pan, the steel pan, there was this paura, and there was matti. So I pick up one of the gamelas, and I take the spade, I fill it up, I lift it, and I give it to Jal. The moment I give it to Jal, he says, Biju up, get the other one, get the other one. And the moment I try to get the other one, people are pouncing on me. Naturally, everybody wants to have a fair share. So they are pouncing on me, and that's it. I realized that my job is done. The last flowers that covered Baba's body went from my hand. The first earth that covered Baba's tomb went from my hand. My life was done. It was made. Khan family's life was already made, being with Meher Baba for more than 100 times. Yeah, we were blessed. I have to accept in all humility we were blessed. But this was the final blessing from Baba. So I go back and I sit in Shanti, and that's it. When Baba's body is covered, it's filled up, and it's opened up again for darshan. People take darshan. And one by one, everybody takes afternoon train, evening train, bus, everybody goes. By morning, people must have left. So on the 8th of Feb, there is this Bombay group, we are still there, and the Mandi. And I remember right in front of my eyes, Iraj uncle is at the Sabha Mandap, and as he is speaking now, right now, he said, "Abe tum log ko bhi jao, tum bhi jao, badha gaya, tum bhi jao. Everybody has left now, you're also going." And the group said, "Iraj, we came for one night." He came for one night, we stayed here for 7 days. Now everybody is gone, you are going to Meherabad. We are also going. So we said goodbye to the monthly and we left. So that is how it is. Just give me a minute, please, if I missed out. Yes, talking about Baba's body being brought. It was brought in an ambulance, a stretcher. Stretcher was put in Baba's room. The stretcher is still, the truss bought over the stretcher, it is still with them. But the ambulance went down the hill. It went down the hill and kaput. It stopped there. A specialist, the mechanic was called from Ahmednagar. He came, tried it, nothing worked. Somebody else was called, didn't work. The ambulance just died. The ambulance just died. Not a single body was since then put in that Baba's place. It was, as I understand, physically towed away because it won't move. Engine had ceased. It was towed away from Lower Meherabad and it was sold as scrap. So that was the end to that ambulance as well. It refused to take any other body after having taken the Avatar's body. Give me a minute, please. Sorry. Fortunately for me and for you, you saw, I would have explained to you how Baba's body was covered, which is interesting. There was no coffin. Mind you, there was no coffin. Then how was Baba's body put? Was the mitti put directly on Baba's body? The answer is no. A box was made. You saw the box. A box was made and there was this plank or dhakkan. Just imagine like a book. So a box is made and a dhakkan is made. And that dhakkan, as I started off saying, that plank of wood, I started off saying, was put on the mitti and on that chadar, and then Baba's body was put. So the lid, that was the lid, the cover, the lid. The lid was put first, Baba's body was put, and then that box which was turned upside down, that box was turned upside down, and it was lowered, covering Baba's body. And then the earth was put and mitti was put. So that is how Baba's body was put. Just a minute. My memory is still good. My memory is still good. I covered all the points. Jai Baba.